Hi, this is Shane with Healthcare Managers Playbook, and we're going to jump back into the series on things I wish I knew before I was a director. And we're going to be on session number 4, and the topic today is going to focus on the fact that you will make mistakes, but guess what? It's okay, because we all do. So nobody's expecting you to be perfect, but when you're a new manager, it can feel like you should be perfect. We put that pressure on ourselves, and we feel that if we make mistakes, particularly early on, maybe people feel like, oh man, Shane wasn't right for this job because he's made a few mistakes. Or we feel like we're insecure probably at the beginning. So if we feel that way ourselves, we might have imposter syndrome, and we're feeling like, oh, somebody's going to find out they hired the wrong person for this job. Don't put that kind of pressure on yourself. Don't do that. People that hired you saw something in you and want you to succeed in this role. They're not waiting to say, I got you, I knew it. They're going to give you grace, they're going to give you mentoring, and they're going to help you get better and better with time. Mistakes are tough for everybody. Nobody likes to make mistakes. Whether you've been a leader and a manager for a month or you've been one for 5 and 10 years. Human nature probably, we just don't like to make mistakes. Number one, it can be our own ego, it can be our own pride, but oftentimes it's the fact that when we make mistakes in our roles, it means somebody else has a bad time. It means a therapist has a bad day. It means a patient didn't get their needs met as well as what we could have if we didn't make those mistakes. So those things will probably always be true, but just take some comfort in knowing that everybody makes mistakes from time to time. It's part of the journey. And we'll talk about how to make that sting a little bit less as we work through today's outline. But the reality is nobody's perfect, and it can lead to some really good learning. Mistakes can be one of the best catalysts for growing, introspecting, and learning how to do things better. But before we go through those steps, if what you have done has caused somebody to have a bad time, number one, take responsibility for it. Jocko Willink wrote the book Extreme Ownership, and he really goes through a lot of rich and colorful examples of his time in Navy SEALs that can apply to not only business, but in healthcare in particular. But we, as the leader of our department, we own the outcomes from what every team member, or in our case, clinician, what every clinician does. It does reflect back on the department and ultimately on you as the leader and the manager. So don't try to step to the side and say, oh, that mistake was somebody else. They did that. What they did was that mistake. If they're part of your group of directs, then that is your responsibility. It could be that you didn't onboard them well enough. You didn't train them well enough. You didn't give them feedback. You weren't giving them coaching. And that's why ultimately we are the ones responsible for our departments, because everything we do has an impact on what they do. The other way I like to think of that, it comes from Jim Collins, and he in his books like Good to Great and Built to Last talks about this concept of window and mirror. So if something goes wrong, we need to look in the mirror and see what did we do to cause that or to allow that to happen. So we take that responsibility of looking in the mirror and seeing what we did or didn't do that led to this mistake. Now, when we get praise, compliments, awards, we set records, now we shift and look at the window, because that will allow us to look out to our team, and we bring that praise and give that to the team. We bring those awards and share those with the team, because they're the ones that are making it happen, and they are the ones that need to feel that positive feedback that, hey, we're on the right track, we're doing great things, and let's keep it going. So those are two. Number one, take responsibility. Those are two ways. You can look at extreme ownership, and you can look at the window in the mirror, but take responsibility. Second thing is apologize. It's okay to apologize in positions of leadership. In fact, it doesn't indicate that you aren't a strong leader if you say you're sorry for a mistake that you made. If you don't apologize, whether it's out of ego or false belief that somehow that will dampen or weaken your leadership authority, you're going to have a lot of folks, they may move on, but they're going to have some resentment or some hurt or some dings that they can't fully heal and get better from to be as good as what they could be as a member of your department, as your team. By apologizing, you help lower the frustration, you help lower the temperature, and you help to promote healing, and you help to promote and help people to get focused back in on the ultimate goal of taking really good care of patients. So one concept about making mistakes that resonated with me is in his book, How I Built This, Guy Raz talks about the concept of sharing mistakes and how that can shorten the entrepreneur's journey to success. In our case, I'll say it will shorten our journey as leaders to success if we learn to share our mistakes with each other. So I'll start off. I'll share a few mistakes that I made as director, particularly early on. The first one, we had a PRN therapist, and she would drive about 45 minutes or so to come in to work. And the day before, I needed to call off staff that we maybe didn't need the next day. And she was on that list. I should have called her and said, hey, looks like we didn't get the admissions we were expecting. And as such, I think we're going to be okay without you. I didn't make that call. She did what she was supposed to do. She got ready, she drove, she took her time, she came in. And I didn't get to see her that morning because I was in other meetings doing other things. But before I was able to find and apologize, she had already left and gone back home. So immediately I called her on the phone and said, I feel terrible. I'm getting more used to these roles and responsibilities, but I know that doesn't help you. I just want you to know, heartfelt, sincere apology, which ended up being a catalyst for us to continue to talk and build relationship. And ultimately, she came onto a role with us that really helped our weekends to just be smooth sailing. But without apologizing and without building that bridge and restoring that communication and trust, she would have never ended up in the role that she's in, still helping to this day in that way to make our department run really well. So that was one. Second mistake, this was probably, I call it early director hazing. Early on, I'm like, do we really need to track attendance? When somebody misses, right? So they call in, or it's a late call in. Do we really need to keep up with tardiness? I mean, we're all grown-ups here. We're all professionals. And after several painful Monday mornings of having call-ins, I ran the statistics on the frequency of call-ins and saw that most of these are happening on Monday morning. Statistically impossible amount are happening on Monday morning. So I said, it's on me, because I wasn't following the company policy on how to manage and take care of these things. So in the next staff meeting, I said, gig's up. I ran the stats. Here's the stats. It's mathematically incredibly unlikely we're going to have this many call-ins. And I know it's my mistake. And I should have been running with the policy on tracking call-ins, no-shows, and tardies. I'm going to start doing that today. And with using that tool and providing the feedback when it did happen, then that problem ultimately went away. So I wish early on somebody would have shared that with me to keep me from having to have so many days where we had to scramble and stretch and strain to find coverage. The last one I'll share, and this one probably stings a little bit more than the others because this involved a team lead, and that means, hey, here's the manager, here's the director. Right under them, they get a layer of help, which would be the team lead, and then you have the therapist there. And early on, I didn't know about one-on-ones. I didn't know about trying to establish and get to know your team first before you step into processes and making things work and function better. I did not take the time to get to know my team leads early on. And if I would have, I maybe would have discovered that one of the team leads also applied for the role as director and was led to feel like he was a shoo-in for it. So when I came and was selected for the role and he was not, understandably that creates some hurt feelings. In particular because probably technically at that time he had better understanding of how the department worked than what I had. Although I was a quick study and I got on my feet and got my arms around it in short order, he was ready to rock and roll from day one. He decided to step back from role as team lead and step back from being a therapist full time there. So we lost a lot of his talent, a lot of his knowledge. And I feel responsible that I wasn't able to maybe have a different outcome from that. It would have been great to have him stay. Because I didn't know as much about relationship building and one-on-ones and feedback and coaching early on, I was not able to work in that in a positive way. So those are 3 mistakes that I made. I could tell you more, but I want to keep this video not to be hours and hours in length. But each one of those, if you can't apologize, apologize. See what you can learn from it. Grow and get better, and let that lead to your department getting better. That continuous improvement is going to help your department ultimately get to where you want it to be, as a great place for people to come and get better and a great place for people to come and work. So that's the main point from today's topic is you will make mistakes. It's okay. Let them get you and your department better. So at the end, it'll be the best place possible for people to come and get better. So thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. And we'll see you next time on Healthcare Manager's Playbook. Thank you.